Hi, Jane from Poppy Patchwork here, and thanks for tuning in to my next video. Today I'm going to show you how to make an 8-inch woven star quilt block. And if you'd like to know how to use this block in a quilt, then please watch to the end of this video and I will show you various settings for it. So I'm going to begin by drawing out the block in my quilt block notebook. So this one needs to be split into 8. So I'm just going to split my grid into 8 sections. So the first thing is the flying geese. And then we have like a pinwheel here. And then this is split here. So these are your split quarter square triangles. And then I'm going to label them up. And then I'm going to write down the cutting chart. I've designed this quilt block notebook, which I use when I'm planning out the blocks that I'm going to do videos for, and you may find it useful. You can buy it from Amazon, and if you scan this code using your phone, it'll take you straight to the Amazon page for it. Now, let's get quilting. To make an 8-inch woven star block, you're going to need 4 2.5-inch squares in background fabric and 4 3 by 5 inch rectangles. And in fabrics A, B, C and D, you're going to need 2 3-inch squares and 1 4¼ inch square. If you'd like to know the measurements to make a 6-inch block or a 12-inch block, please pop over to my website, scan the QR code now, and you can purchase a PDF with this information. When making this block, it's really important to get the colours in the right place. So I'm going to lay it out in the block layout. To begin with, I'm just going to focus on the flying geese units. So because they're going to have different colours on each side of the flying geese, we're going to have to make them as a one at a time. The first thing we're going to do is draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of the 3-inch squares in fabrics A, B, C and D. And then in order to get the colours in the right place, I'm going to start by laying out the fabrics in the block layout, focusing just on the flying geese. So I'm looking at the design in my book so that I get the placement of these correct. I'm just going to place one colour on each flying geese for the moment. Okay, so that is how they're going to appear on the flying geese. So I'm going to pin these right sides together. I'm going to take those over to the sewing machine and sew on top of the line. So I'm just going to remove the pins, and then we're going to cut 1/4 inch away from the sewn line. And now we're going to press the seams. I'm going to start by setting the seams and then pressing towards the small triangle. I'm now going to draw a diagonal line on the remaining 3-inch squares. So I'm going to lay these back into the block layout. And I'm going to refer back to my book to see where those flying geese are. So now I can lay the fabrics in the right place again. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to pin them in place. So I'm going to go back over to the sewing machine and sew on top of the line. So here I've got a choice of where to start. I'm going to start at the edge where there's just 2 fabrics and head towards the point where we cross over. So I'm going to remove the pins and then cut 1/4 inch away from the sewn line. We're now going to press the seams. So we're going to set the seam and then press towards the small triangle. And now we're going to trim the flying geese. So I like to use the Ultimate Flying Geese tool designed by Deb Heatherly for creative grids. If you don't have one of these, then click the link above and it will take you to my YouTube video on how to trim flying geese with a standard ruler. So we're going to be trimming these to 2.5 by 4.5 inches. And on this ruler, you need to follow the D lines. So you line the D lines up with the apex, and then you cut up and across the top. You then turn the unit round and you turn the ruler round and line the D lines up again, and then cut up one side and along the top. So now we're going to move on to the split quarter triangles. Now for this, you need to cut each of your 4.25 inch squares in half across the diagonal. So we're going to keep one of those, and then the other one we're going to cut again across the diagonal, or what would have been the diagonal. So we're going to cut across the diagonal and move one of them to one side, then turn the other one around and cut again. You do have to be really careful now, because by cutting in half across the diagonal, we have exposed that bias, and that can make these pieces of fabric really stretchy. So we need to handle with care. Now once again, it's important to return all of these to the block layout to get all the colours in the right place. So I'm going to refer to my book to make sure I'm getting the flying geese in the right place. And then I'm going to place the large piece and then I'm going to place the large pieces. And now those small triangles need to be placed. Right, so let's see if we can lay that out a little bit better. There we go. So the first thing we need to do is join the little triangles to each other. So I'm going to take those over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. When I sew these together, I find it easier to start at the point where I've got the 90-degree corner. And now we're going to set the seams and press these. You can either press them to one side or press them open for a flatter finish. The choice is yours. Now we're going to lay everything back out in the block layout. Okay, so that's the layout. Now we're going to pin the small triangles to the large triangles. So you want to make sure that this seam here runs into this corner here. Now we're going to sew along this long edge here. So we're going to take that over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to remove the pins and then press the seams. Going to set the seam and then we're going to press towards the larger triangle. So these need to be trimmed to 2.5 inch square. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. First way is with the standard square ruler, and for this you line the diagonal line on the ruler on top of your sewn line, and then where it intersects you line the 1 1/4 inch line. Because 1 1/4 is half of 2.5, and then we're going to cut up one side and along the other side. Then we're going to rotate the unit and repeat by laying the diagonal line on the stitch line and lining the 1 1/4 inch line at that crossover point. And then we're going to cut up and down. Now I prefer to use 6 1/2 inch triangle square up ruler by Eleanor Burns for Quilt in a Day. So for this, you leave your piece folded and you line the 2 1/2 inch line along the stitch line along the long edge, and then this vertical line needs to lay on top of your stitch line, and then you cut up and down. Now I'm going to repeat for all of those. I'm now going to lay these out in the block layout. So I'm going to start by sewing these 4 units in the centre. So I'm going to pop these back into the block layout. I'm going to roller press those seams open. And I'm going to pin those together using the perfect positioning point technique. I do have a video on how to get perfect points, and if you right click on the link above, it will take you to my video on this. So I'm going to go back over to the sewing machine and sew those together. Going to place everything back in the block layout. I'm just going to check my diagram to see that I've done that correctly. I'm now going to sew the block together in columns. So I'm not going to press the seams yet. I'm going to sew the pieces on the bottom of the columns. So I'm going to go back over to the sewing machine. So I'm going to set the seams and then press them towards the flying geese. And now I'm going to pin the sides to the centre. Again, you will find that Perfect Points video useful for matching these points. So I'm going to go back over to the sewing machine and sew the final 2 seams of this block. I'm now going to set those seams and press them open for a flatter finish. So congratulations, you have finished the woven star block. Here are some quilt options. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block. There is no sashing or borders, but the use of the white background fabric in the block allows the design and fabrics to stand out. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block placed on point. There is no sashing or borders, but you would need to add blocks in background fabric in between the blocks, shown here with the stars, and add setting triangles around the edges, again shown here with the stars. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block but with sashing, cornerstones and borders. And finally, this is an illustration of a sampler quilt using some of the blocks from this quilt block series. The sashing in this quilt is in the white background fabric. The cornerstones and border is in the darker fabric to pop and frame the quilt. Want to learn more? Watch another one of my videos from the Quilt Block series. Click above to go to my playlist. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. More of these videos will be posted, so please tune in. Thank you for watching and bye for now.